Change your heart, change your life, change the planet.
When I get into these longer conversations and I feel like I have to lead the conversation and I start to run out of things that I really think of to talk about, that's when I start to really get uncomfortable, and I don't know if it's noticeable to the other person, but I'm starting to have all these thoughts running through my head. I'm like, I don't know what to say. So, are there any tips or anything for that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's really a perspective shift. If we look at the word conversation, verse means to turn, like a universe is one turn. Reverse is to turn back. To converse is to turn together. So when the shy person enters into a conversation, we're essentially taking all of the pressure onto ourselves. We're dancing alone with somebody else standing next to us, essentially. And when shy people dance, that's usually how they dance. They don't dance with people, they dance next to people.
Yeah.
You ever been there?
Oh, yeah.
And if somebody wants to dance with us, we get confused. If somebody wants to have a conversation with us, we get confused because, well, wait a minute, it's out of my control now. I can't control this anymore. I don't know where this is going to go. But when we have a prepared topic of conversation that we're going to engage in, then we feel safe. But then suddenly we run out of that topic, as you just stated, and now suddenly we're in the unknown again. But the perspective shift is this: when we're doing that, we're not having a conversation, we're engaging in a monologue. And it's the realization that, okay, I came here to interact, but I'm not really interacting. I'm simply acting. I'm performing something with people around, and I think that's what interaction is, but it isn't. Interaction is when I go, poke, and you go, huh? And now I do something again, and there's a boom, boom, there's a give and a take, and a give and a take. And that's the converse. We're turning together, we're moving around together, responding to each other. And there's a great physical analogy for this. There's a style of dance that I used to do in college. I was a dancer because I was shy. And I took dance to get better as an athlete, but also because that was the scariest thing in the world. Me, this shy jock, going into a dance class. That was deathly frightening. And one of the styles we learned was contact improvisation, which is essentially a group of people. It could be two people or it could be many people that use each other's bodies as the launching pads for new types of movement. So you never know what's going to happen because you can't predict or control the other person. So if their body starts to collapse, you go with it, and maybe you come around behind them and support them, and you never know because it's improvisation. Yeah. And you're touching another human being and they're touching you, and you can't be selfish. You've got to just be with them, and that's what a conversation actually looks like. Yeah. But it's harder to see because people usually come with talking points. Even non-shy people do this. You'll get people that are very extroverted, very talkative, and they'll just wah, 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 and they really don't care if you're listening or being affected or not. Yeah. But the shy person does care. The shy person wants to be engaged, they just don't know how. They don't feel safe. So again, this goes back to the small steps. Rather than trying to lead a conversation for 10 minutes or even 5 minutes, initiate part of the turn, and then a small one, and then let them respond. And their response gives you new information that you use to turn back and give them something new. And this is how I work with conversation now. It becomes a very fluid process. That doesn't mean that it's easy for me to initiate. It's still scary. And sometimes you realize that the person just doesn't want to talk with you. And that's okay. That becomes part of the conversation. That's not off limits. You say something to someone, you do something, and they don't respond or they give you a look. And okay, that's the data. The data you're giving me is not interested, and your response could be, well, that really fell flat. Okay, I feel like an idiot. Hi, I'm Doofus, what's your name? So you're not trying to predict or prepare this giant conversation. You're only focused on their response to what you did. So you don't have a whole ton of data to work with. You just have one piece.
Yeah.
They either liked it or they didn't like it. They either opened up to me or they closed off to me. They either look interested or they look disinterested. That's the data you're going to get. And you can comment on either one of those, because that's the reality. If you're actually talking with someone, then talk with the signals that they're giving you. Respond to that. Make that the conversation.
Okay.
And then you don't ever really have to jump far. And if 3 of those little steps in, it's not going anywhere, you can say that too. You can say, okay, well, I guess this isn't going anywhere. Nice talking with you, and you walk away.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter. Or you do something and somebody gets really upset. You say, wow, you're totally pissed right now. Okay, all right, I'm going to let you be. All right. And we don't, therefore, entertain these gigantic conversations in our head, because it's never about the bigger picture. It's always about the call and response, that little dance. You know, as Newton said, Newton's third law, for every force, there is an equal and opposite force.
Right.
So if I push, what are you doing? Are you pushing back? What force are you giving me after I give you something? There's something there. There's always something there. What is it? And then make that the conversation. And it's present. You know, it's not made up. Like you see these guys on TV or on the internet that teach shy guys how to pick up women. And they come up with all these lines and these ridiculous stories and these openers and all these different techniques to use. But there's nothing authentic about that. It's totally rehearsed. It has nothing to do with the person you're communicating with.
Right.
And you're really you're running a game on them. And if you really want to talk with someone, you just get present to, okay, why am I walking towards this person? Why do I want to speak with this person? What is it about them that's making me want to walk over there? And what is it about them or me that's making me not want to walk over there and talk to them? Those are your 2 first conversation points. Number 1, why do I want to talk to them? And number 2, what's stopping me? Start with one of those.
Someone beeps the horn when you're walking down the street with your animal rights poster. Awesome. That's an invitation. If they don't beep the horn, don't get in their face. You will only confront them and they will get defensive. And this is what I learned. This is what I'm sure we have all learned. When you make someone wrong for their choices, you make an enemy. You never convert them. The part of their brain that learns gets shut off during confrontation. Human beings are not capable of learning when confronted.